Hello folks, today we'll be painting a plage rat, Ratskin, made by Zabavka Workshop, the company from Belarus which manufactures miniatures. The base is too made by these great guys. So I usually prime my minis with black and white zenithal primer. If you don't know what it is, just Google it. So the primer is fully cured and I'll just show you on how to paint it like this. So we are using quite warm paint scheme. So we start with airbrush and hull red from Vallejo from below to give shadows a very warm and deep look. Next step is our base color. It will be yellow-green from Vallejo because we need to create the effect of plaged rotten skin. After this, we highlight it with German camo beige. This is a great color if you need, warm highlights, slightly desaturated look. So after this, I take dark sea blue and cover all the metal surfaces which I want to be really rusty, but I tend to paint them in the non-metal style. So after this, I am taking a deck tan. This will be our most bright highlight, and we airbrush it on the miniature and on the metal parts to create the first highlight of them. Okay, so next step is shading, and we'll be using shades from Citadel, the great tool if you need to color your paint miniature a little bit or to add some tone. Now I'm taking a Grexture shade and Drucci Violet. So violet here is needed to create the undead looking flesh tones, to create some interesting tonal contrast in the shadows and stuff like this. So I wash pretty much all of the miniature with Agrax, and I add a little bit of Drucci Violet to the scars, to the intestines, and so on. And now we take the contrast from Citadel paint. It's a snakebite leather, and we will cover all the leather parts with it. It's very nice, very saturated color. It's great for creating yellowish leather parts, like, some straps or weapon handles. And now we are coming to painting postules, all this plage stuff. So we start with Nasdrag yellow, and we cover pretty much all these pustules on the Ratskin. Then we take Griefhound orange. It's a contrast from Citadel. It's used to create a slight rust effect on our metal parts, so just stick to the shadows and crevices, don't wash too much, just a little bit in the shadows. Right now I think that we need to deepen our shadows, I mean the violet shadows, all these undead ones, and I'm taking the contrast painted Sage purple, but I dilute it a little bit and I just make a little bit more tone in the intestines shadow, just to bring some colors in it, but to create a contrast at the same time. Okay, now to highlights. I'm using Everland yellow and ice yellow from Vallejo to create all the highlights on the pustules, to make them bright. Okay. And I shade all of this with a very diluted cavalry brown, just wash around all these pustules to create this rough skin effect. Okay, and the final shadows of the rusted metal parts will be all red. Just a little bit to the shadows, very diluted, very watered down. So just to deepen the shadows, but keep them saturated. Okay, I forgot to paint the tail of this Ratskin, so I'm going back to Decktown just to highlight the tail. And now let's get back to our metal parts. So I'm taking a ghost gray from Vallejo to create these tiny highlights, just edge highlights and some scratches all around. So just use a side of your brush, not the tip of your brush, just the side, so you will create very thin lines on the edges. The color is dark sea blue from Vallejo. I cover pretty much all of the base, and I add a little bit of a black Templar Citadel contrast to it, just to make it a little bit deeper, a little bit darker. And I add ghost gray, just wet on wet, just create the first highlights, just to add some texture to the stones. And then I'm taking the rust effect. It's a wash from Citadel, from Vallejo, really great wash, and I just give this base, plenty of wash with rust. You can take dark rust, light rust. Vallejo rust is really a cool product. And now we need to add a little bit of, tonal interest. So I'm taking a fluo green to brighten the eyes of the Ratskin, this nuclear green light. So just add a little drop to the eyes, and be careful because fluo products are toxic. And for the final details, I'm taking a blood for the blood god. You can use Vallejo blood for this, just to wash over the intestines, scars, add some drops of blood here and there, a little bit to the mouse, just to make it more dark, more bloody. And that's pretty much it. So here you can see the final result. It all took me about an hour, maybe a little bit more, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So it was a very fun and very fast paint job. I hope you like it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check the Kickstarter of my friends from Zabavka Miniatures. You will find the link in the description. Thank you guys, and see you again.